This is the station you turn to first for live team coverage of breaking news. 98.7 and 1330 KNSS. Wichita's #1 talk.
Good morning, 6 o'clock. This is the KNSS Morning News with Steve and Ted. I'm Steve McIntosh, now partly cloudy and 46 degrees. Colonial Pipeline remains mostly offline and likely will be through the rest of the week.
Colonial Pipeline hopes to restore its fuel lines from Texas to New York by the end of the week. If not, fuel prices, the highest in 7 years, will rise. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm had this plea.
It's not that we have a gasoline shortage. It's that we have this supply crunch and that things will be back to normal soon, and that we're asking people not to hoard.
More than 7% of Virginia's gas stations have run out of fuel, with North Carolina and Georgia also facing shortages. The governors of Virginia and North Carolina have declared a state of emergency. American Airlines says 2 long-haul flights from Charlotte, North Carolina had to add additional stops due to the current fuel shortage. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
A Wichita man is charged with second-degree murder in the death of a Quick Trip security guard and former Wichita police officer.
41-year-old Leroy West was charged Tuesday after the May 5th shooting, which led to the death of 39-year-old Will Robinson. Police said Robinson was working as a security guard at the Quick Trip at Broadway and Murdoch when a man began causing a disturbance. Robinson was shot after he took the man out of the store and off the property. Robinson worked for the Wichita Police Department for about 10 years and had worked for Quick Trip for about a year. West is being held on a $250,000 bond. Dan O'Neill, KNSS News.
A Wichita police officer has been fired after he crashed his vehicle into a Jeep. The accident happened Sunday night at Central and Tyler in West Wichita. The Kansas Highway Patrol says 23-year-old Trenton Wolf was responding to a call and failed to yield at the intersection. The collision caused the Jeep to hit a bank building. 2 people inside the Jeep were injured. Officials say Wolf was a probationary officer at the time of the accident. The Wichita City Council has approved a new code of ethics for the mayor, council, and advisory board members.
The policy outlining expected behavior by elected city leaders has been in the works since June 2020 and allows for the creation of a 7-member ethics advisory board. The policy also includes internal controls, training requirements, enforcement mechanisms, and whistleblower protection. Councilmember Brian Fry says for the policy to be successful, it will take ongoing work.
It can't just be for show. It has to be something that's going to continue to improve this climate in the community.
Reviews of the policy will be completed by May 1st each year. Rodney Price, KNSS News.
In an economy emerging from a pandemic, there are many jobs available, but some people with enhanced unemployment benefits are making more staying at home than they would be with a job. U.S. Senator from Kansas, Dr. Roger Marshall, says that's an equation that needs to be fixed.
Start dialing back the federal portion of it. So right now, people in Kansas maybe are getting $400 or $500 a week from the state, plus $300 from the federal government. And we just can't be paying people $20 an hour to stay at home anymore when there's jobs available.
Senator Marshall appeared live Tuesday with Steve and Ted in the morning here on KNSS. 2 Texas deputies were killed and a city worker critically wounded in an attack south of Dallas.
Authorities say the 2 Concho County deputies and an employee for the city of Eden were shot while answering a complaint about a dog. The 3 arrived at a home Monday night to investigate the complaint, and while making contact with people there, Sergeant Justin Baker of the Texas Department of Public Safety says an altercation occurred and quickly escalated to gunfire. 28-year-old Jeffrey Nicholas was taken into custody and charged with capital murder of a peace officer, his bond set at $4 million. Governor Greg Abbott tweeting, "This terrible loss is a solemn reminder of the risks our brave law enforcement officers face while protecting our communities." Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
KNSS News time now, 6:04, 4 minutes past 6 o'clock.
98.7 and 1330 KNSS.
Good morning, Steve and Ted in the morning here on a Wednesday. 6:10, 10 minutes past 6 o'clock.
And as we take our first look at traffic here on the Wednesday morning commute, of course, traffic light right now, so not a lot of accidents or tie-ups to tell you about. We do have a little bit of construction, of course. You'll find in the east part of Wichita, right at K96 and Kellogg and the Turnpike as that construction continues. So there are some slowdowns there, but keep you updated on any traffic events that happen throughout the morning. Traffic update with Steve and Ted, KNSS.
Now the forecast with KNSS staff meteorologist Dan Holliday. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning. We will have a gradual clearing sky across south central Kansas, and we again expect to be cool today with temperatures in the low 60s this afternoon and a light easterly wind. Variable clouds, but dry tonight, our low 44. Sunny and warmer tomorrow with a high near 70, and thunderstorm chances increase as we head toward the weekend. I'm KNSS meteorologist Dan Holliday.
Now a clear sky, 44 degrees. We have a north wind at 6 miles per hour. 6:11, Steve and Ted in the morning here on KNSS. Wednesday, May 12th, 2021. We had a cloudy day across south central Kansas Tuesday. Wichita's high temperature was 61 degrees. Normal high for the date, 76. So we have been having some days here where the temperature's a lot cooler than usual at this time of year. On this date in 1934, the most severe dust storm in history raged from the Great Plains to the Atlantic coast. Strong higher-level winds carried around 350 million tons of silt across the central and eastern thirds of the country. The dust lodged into the eyes and throats of many New Yorkers and collected on the decks of ships some 300 miles from shore. And as I understand it, until this day, in 1934, Congress wasn't terribly concerned about the Dust Bowl. But in the nation's capital, I think they had a layer of dust on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it finally got their attention. 1934, the biggest dust storm in the history of the United States. Okay, 2002. That would be 19 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Carter arrived in Cuba, becoming the first U.S. president in or out of office to visit since the 1959 revolution that put Fidel Castro in power.
Forgotten that.
Yeah. There have been actually some Republican senators and lawmakers from the state of Kansas I've talked to for years that have talked about trying to get the trade back, getting to trade with Cuba, trying to get those cigars in here and sell them some wheat.
No, Senator Moran he's been a huge proponent of that. That's a huge grain market that could be open to us.
Yes, and one of the bad parts was, I don't know if it's still true, but they told me years ago that the bad part was that Cuba's credit wasn't very good and they didn't have much cash. So that's one of the reasons. Anyway, 2002, Jimmy Carter.
So what did he accomplish in that visit?
Probably just PR more than anything, wouldn't you think? Just public relations. A man who fatally shot 6 people at a Colorado birthday party before killing himself was upset after not being invited to the weekend gathering thrown by his girlfriend's family. Police are calling the event an act of domestic violence. The shooter, 28-year-old Teodoro Macias, had been in a relationship with one of the victims, 28-year-old Sandra Ibarra, for about a year. Colorado Springs Police Lieutenant Joe Fraviel says Macias had a history of controlling and jealous behavior, but there were no reported incidents of domestic violence during the relationship. Frabelli says the shooter didn't have a criminal history and no protective orders were in place. Apparently, the guy kind of snapped and went off on the deep end and went off his rocker. 6:14 now, Steve and Ted in the morning here on KNSS. Protecting the kids on the Internet. A bipartisan group of 44 state attorneys general is coming together to urge Facebook to cancel its plans for a version of Instagram aimed at kids. In a letter, the officials warn of the potential for kids to face bullying or possible grooming from sexual predators and question Facebook's record in protecting children. The company says it will work with both child experts and government regulators to ensure safety and privacy for underage users of Instagram.
Well, good luck with that.
You have an account with Instagram?
I do not.
I don't either. I don't know much about it. But apparently there seems to be, at least some people think, kind of a danger there involved with the kids.
I have other things to do with my life besides social media.
Do you? Yeah. Well, I feel that way, too. I'm not having much luck this morning.
Really?
With my cell phone.
Oh, yeah, you were having some cell phone
I'm not
issues
sure that it might be that I just maybe didn't get it charged enough last night, or maybe the plug in the wall came loose.
Oh, yeah, it could be. Or maybe you're in a bad spot in the building. I don't know.
I've gone over the building trying to find different spots, and it'll sort of come up, and then when it asks for the password, it blinks out.
Oh, that's not good.
I don't know if maybe the service is off. Hey, and how can you tell? They can't email you. I can't tell you if you don't have the service. There, see it coming on there, and then didn't, and now what's going to happen? Let's see. Let's kind of see what happens here. See if the comes up for the password.
Okay.
Yeah, it did. See it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Could be back in. Anyway. Nope, there it goes. Bingo. So how do you know if you don't have cell phone service? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you find out when you can't make a call.
I love computers and social media.
I know you do.
It's made my life just a whole lot better.
Hasn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really, really.
How did you ever make it all those years without social media?
Without social media and seeing so many Facebook pictures of people's dogs and cats.
And meals.
Yeah. Oh, well. That's another story at another time. Steve and Ted, we've got some interesting things lined up this morning. Just want to remind you real quick that one of the features we do have is Bill Roy from the Wichita Business Journal, who we think he's a treasure. He's one of our favorite people.
Yes, he is.
You'll hear his updates from the Wichita Business Journal at 7:52 and 8:52 every morning right here on KNSS. He's always got something really good to say about the business world, something new in the community.
They've got
the Business Journal's a great source of that information, and Bill does a terrific job, and we invite you to stay tuned.
Exactly.
Every morning with Steve and Ted. It's coming up on 6:18 now, Steve and Ted in the morning here on KNSS. Time for Lead Off Sports now with Ted Woodward. Ted?
Yep, last night, festivities in downtown Wichita, the first ever minor league baseball game at Wichita's new $75 million Riverfront Stadium. Matchup of division leaders, the Wichita Wind Surge and the Amarillo Sod Poodles. Nice crowd on hand on a chilly night, 7,900. We're at the first game ever, and Wichita had some chances in a low-scoring game, but Wichita ended up leaving 11 runners on base, and Amarillo won the game 3-2 in the first ever minor league game at the new stadium. Wichita's 3-game winning streak snapped, but both teams are now 5-2 on the season, so Amarillo's bullpen was fantastic. Wichita could not break through. Amarillo bullpen going 4 2/3 scoreless innings of work as Wichita went 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position in the final 5 innings.
What's the capacity of that stadium? 9,500? 10,000?
No, not that.
Not that many?
No,
Okay. Well, 7,500
in the 8,000s.
So it's pretty close to
maybe even up to 9.
Yeah,
depending on how it's configured.
All right.
But yeah, and all the chair backs were sold out.
Yeah, if you get out there in the berm, then you can put.
Yeah, it depends on how crowded things get out in the outfield. Yeah. So Amarillo wins it 3-2 as Riverfront Stadium has been christened for minor league baseball now. Play again tonight downtown at 7:05. Kansas City Royals, at Detroit last night. Royals down 7-0 in the 8th inning, but they rallied with 7 late runs in the 8th and the 9th, tied it in the top of the 9th, but then the bullpen couldn't do anything in the bottom of the 9th. Hit by pitch, a walk, and a single. Tigers win it. 8-7 as the Royals lose their 9th game in a row.
Wow.
That one hurt. You heard the game last night on 97.5 and 1240 KFH. Royals and Tigers again tonight at 6 o'clock on KFH. We had another athletic event in downtown Wichita last night on home ice. The Wichita Thunder skating against the last-place Kansas City Mavericks. Wichita wins it 5-2 at Intrust Bank Arena. Goalie Evan Beitenheis with 38 saves, picking up his 13th win of the season. This one was not in doubt. Wichita had a 4-0 lead in the second period and easily wins it 5-2. Thunder sweeping the 3-game mini-series against the Mavericks to start a 4-game homestand.
What's that?
By the way, the Wichita Thunder, with that win, is now the number 1 team in the league.
How about it?
Here late in the season. That's good stuff. Pro basketball in the NBA last night. The Los Angeles Clippers going to Tampa and beat the Raptors 115-96. Starting at forward for the Clippers, former Kansas Jayhawk Marcus Morris had 14 points. The Clippers are in the number 3 spot in the Western Conference. They have clinched a playoff spot. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. Major League Baseball in the Philadelphia Phillies going to the nation's capital last night, beat the Washington Nationals 6-2. Coming off the bench for the Phillies, former Wichita State Shocker Alec Boehm playing some third base. He went 1 for 2 with a double. Nice effort off the bench for Alec Boehm as the Phillies have won 6 of their last 8 games. And a happy birthday today to great baseball guy that spent a couple of years here in Wichita. Felipe Alou is 86 today. He was the manager of the Wichita Arrows for 2 seasons in the early 1980s. And then he went on to a long managerial career in the big leagues with the Montreal Expos and the San Francisco Giants.
One of three brothers that played in the bigs.
He was a great player as well in his playing days, and he was a pretty darn good manager, too.
Matty and Felipe and we were
Jesus.
And Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Giants. San Francisco Giants players.
Yep.
All right.
So happy birthday, former Wichita Arrows manager Felipe Alou is 86 today. And that's sports with Steve and Ted.
Time check, 6:21, Steve and Ted. Keep it here for Dr. Sanjay Gupta. How much time do your kids spend in front of screens? That's coming up, Steve and Ted in the morning on 98.7 and 1330 KNSS.